So, how long have you been working or living in West Loop?
I'm here right now. I'm in my 38th year of running the Palace Grill. The Palace Grill is in its 78th year here. We're starting our 79th year here in January. There's a lot of history here.
Yeah. And obviously, the second question. Obviously, you enjoy working here. You've been here for this
Oh, I
long.
do. This restaurant is my third child.
Yeah.
It's a very famous restaurant in West Loop. Like I said, we're starting our 79th year. All these other restaurants and stuff are Johnny Come Latelys. We've been here forever.
Yeah. No kidding.
I love working here. A few years ago, we were named the best breakfast restaurant in the city of Chicago by one of the top 2 restaurant critics in the city, which is a huge honor.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that we are named the official restaurant of the Chicago Blackhawks. All the Blackhawks eat here. The executives eat it, and my friends. It's quite an honor. It's quite an honor to be involved with the Chicago Blackhawks at this point in life.
Yeah. Definitely. So, in the last 5 years, what has been the biggest changes you'd say around this neighborhood and where your Palace Grill is located at?
Well, we started a few years before 5 years. Randolph Street has become Restaurant Row in the city. All the different restaurants, and we're talking famous restaurants that have come. It's one of the hottest restaurant areas in the city, let alone the country. It's just exploded. Property values there have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
The West Loop has turned into the hottest neighborhood in the country, one of the hottest neighborhoods in the country.
Yeah.
McDonald's is moving their corporate headquarters a few blocks away. Google came in, they brought 3,000 jobs. Motorola moved their corporate headquarters to West Monroe Street. A few years ago, Boeing went down there. So the transformation of this neighborhood is nothing less than remarkable. 20 years ago, this was Skid Row, Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible what's happening.
That's crazy that it's changed that much.
Yeah,
It's a good thing you've owned
yeah,
this.
it's changed a lot. I mean, when I came in the late 70s, I mean, this neighborhood was as blighted and as depressed, not any neighborhood in this city in the country. I mean, this was a very bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
It can only have gone up. And what the transformation is incredible.
That's awesome.
And you guys, after this, if you have any questions, feel free to call me at any time. If you have other questions about anything prior to whatever project you're doing and whenever it's done, you're more than welcome to call me. And
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I was in college once.
Yeah.
Where you guys were, I've been.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your time. I'm sure you're busy,
No
but
problem at
on
all.
Saturday afternoon, we do appreciate it. So, good.
Yeah. So, what do you think caused all these changes in West Loop?
Two biggest things that led to the transformation of this neighborhood was one, the United Center being built. Because of the United Center being built, it led to all the infrastructure of this whole neighborhood being redone. Unfortunately, part of the problem, well, it was a problem, but what happened when they did the infrastructure, they closed Madison Street for 18 months. So I lost 50% of my business overnight. I had to fire my cousin who was working here, and I was getting here at 2 o'clock in the morning running my business till 5 o'clock at night. I lost 50% of my business overnight. So number one was the United Center coming in, and because of the United Center replacing Chicago Stadium, that led to the city of Chicago getting the Democratic National Convention in 1996.
Yeah.
So those two things led to the total transformation of this neighborhood. I mean, if they didn't get the United Center, they wouldn't have gotten the Democratic National Convention. Had they not gotten the Democratic National Convention, who knows how long it would have been before they knocked down all these decrepit buildings and, the infrastructure was shot. It was bad. I mean, it needed complete transformation. So.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy.
question.
So, obviously, the housing and rent prices have gone way up in this neighborhood.
Oh, housing is
Skyrocketed.
Skyrocket is not the word. They're putting 8 luxury townhouses right next to me here, right outside, right next to me. 8 luxury townhouses starting at $1.95 million. Right at Loomis and Madison, $1.95 million.
Wow.
I mean, that's ridiculous money.
Yeah. No kidding.
It's turned into a true neighborhood, though. Schools have expanded. They brought in, shops like cleaners and grocery stores, and all the neighborhood shops that you have for a neighborhood have all come in here. There's clothing stores on Randolph Street. It's remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
So, what are the major commercial enterprises in the neighborhood today?
Say that
What are
again.
the major commercial enterprises in the neighborhood today?
Let me read that.
The major
So-
commercial enterprises.
Yeah, like what were some businesses that
What are the
dominated
major?
before?
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Besides, obviously, the United Center.
years ago, this whole neighborhood was printing companies and manufacturing.
Okay.
Now all the printing companies and manufacturing have all turned into housing. This neighborhood, there's not a lot of manufacturing, things like that. The United Center is a huge boom for this neighborhood, but for the most part, this neighborhood's really turned into more of a residential neighborhood. There are a few shops, there's a few different things, companies, but really for the most part, most of the companies are moving out. The meatpacking district, I only think there's like 10 meatpacking companies left out of, at one point, hundreds.
Yeah.
There's only 10 of them, that Fulton Market corridor. It's, they're turning that into like restaurants over there. So, I mean, if I would say anything, I would say that there's more restaurants than anything in this neighborhood, really. On the east end of the West Loop, by Halston Street coming west.
Yeah.
There's all these restaurants that are going in there. Can't you see I'm in a meeting? Hello, Richard. How are you?
So obviously, that's a good thing for the Palace Grill and yourself.
It
More
is.
people around here, more people going out with their family.
As a matter of fact, it's funny you said that because that gentleman has one of the few meat manufacturing businesses left in this neighborhood. He owns Leon Sausage Company on Lake Street. They've been there since the turn of the century. And he is one of the few people that has a meat company manufacturing in this area. But there's few and far between. But like I said, most of this neighborhood has turned into a residential neighborhood. You have a few shops, specialty. You got attorneys moving in here. You got realtors. Just like. But as far as manufacturing, things like that, there's not much left.
So have they been knocking the old buildings down and putting new ones up, or are they rehabilitating the old
some.
factories? A little bit of both?
Some, yeah, half and half.
Okay.
The ones that are viable buildings and they're able to do it without much cost, they do it, but it's half and half. Half are torn down, half aren't.
Okay.
I mean, but all these buildings, most of them they were all warehouses. Over here was a huge printing company right on the corner. Now it's 6 stories of retail, of residential. I'm sorry. Same thing, all up and down. Anywhere you drive up and down, and you see an old big building that's residential. Those were all factories, all manufacturing for years. Like now they tore down Harpo Studios. It's a huge studio where Oprah Winfrey had her show.
Oh yeah.
They tore that whole block down. She had a whole block, but they tore that whole block down. They put in McDonald's corporate headquarters.
Wow.
I mean, it was a nice building. They had only built it probably in the last mid-90s, I would say they built it, maybe early 90s, but they tore that whole thing down to put up McDonald's corporate headquarters.
You said earlier that Google and all these big companies, corporations are building in the West Loop. What
Yes.
would you say is the reason for that?
This neighborhood is turning into just a specialty. What's the reason? Because of the close proximity to downtown. And kids like your age They all live in Lincoln Park, Lakeview. That's where they all live, and they live downtown. They want to work downtown. McDonald's will hire children out of